Honorable Member Blong, Inland, Baining, District Administrator Long, Giselle, District Wangon, Administration Long, School yet Long here, all invited guests, all speakers, all big man, la big Mary, you play, sit down long stage, stop, all parents, no, more importantly, all graduates belong this important day today. Name below me, I'm Norbert Kubak. You play Nanablo Kimilong program today, but I have this great pleasure long acknowledge him. There's a lot of opportunity where honorable member yet belong this award. I acknowledge you, Mr. Takap, award belong here yet, long Karavia one, for the opportunity that you have extended to me to share a few words of encouragement and I guess words of congratulations to those young men and women who will be graduating today. The first national goal of this country, one of 5 major goals that make up or set the foundation for the country of Papua New Guinea as an independent state, means integral human development. A major part of that national goal is of course the reason why we are here this morning, education. I'd like to share a few of my thoughts that arise from and surround that national goal, that first goal. That is set out in the national goals and directive principles of our great constitution. The institution that you have been part of up until today, graduating ladies and gentlemen, is an institution that forms an integral part of that national goal, integral human development. So regardless of the size of the institution that you have been part of up until now, I want you lady and gentlemen to understand and fully appreciate where you fit in to the big picture that is set out in the very foundational part of our nation, the Constitution, as I said, which sets out the 5 national goals or the 5 national pillars upon which this great province and indeed our great country of Papua New Guinea is founded upon. So today, lady and gentlemen, I want to share these thoughts with you. Our forefathers who wrote our constitution, who helped bring this country towards independence and to independence, were very mindful of the need for us to develop our human resources. And to that extent, ladies and gentlemen, they took all the time to make sure that integral development, human development, was the first of our goals. And so, the learning process that you have been part of and which you see the fruits of today was in the minds of our forefathers as they were writing the founding document, our Constitution, which brought us to independence eventually on the 16th of September 1975. Let me assure you, the whole reason why we are all able to be here today is because of our desire collectively to make sure that we play our part, however big or however small it may be, in making sure that we give meaning to the true spirit of that national goal. The goal for us to be developed as a balanced human being. Today, gentlemen and lady, I want to assure you that you may have concluded a program at this very important institution, and for which you will be rewarded accordingly today. But let me remind you that this is just a small step in the journey that you must continue on. And I think the SOC quite properly put it this morning, that learning doesn't stop until we close our eyes. In fact, there is a saying that goes, education begins in the womb and it ends in the tomb. I think we have on various occasions heard that saying. Want you to pay attention to it and remember that they are not just empty words. They are in fact words that can guide you, can motivate you, can drive you so that you continue learning. Gentlemen and lady, today you arrive at a crossroad in your life's journey, particularly in your learning life. You must now spare a moment to remind yourself that you are required to make some important decisions as you arrive at this crossroad. Where do you go from here? I am sure as you are seated here, you have your own ideas already as to what is next. Whatever I want to share with you this morning basically is this: that what's in your mind, what's in your heart, what it is that has been driving you, I want you to make sure that as you make that all important decision at this crossroad that you have arrived at, that you must continue to pursue it with vigor, with passion. You must continue to let that fire continue burning in you, the fire that will drive you to continue to push forward. There are a lot of lessons that is kept in archives and is well chronicled across the whole length and breadth of this globe, from which we can draw some aspiration from. In the field of technology, I just want you to remember, draw your attention to, remind you of a great gentleman by the name of Henry Ford. I stand to be corrected, but from the materials and the books that I've been able to read, I understand that this great gentleman, Henry Ford, only had 6 months of formal education. The rest of what made him a great person, a person whose name that is seen on the Ford vehicle, was gained through practical training. So as you sit here, you may not be at the National University of Technology as yet, or the University of Papua New Guinea, or some other higher learning institution here in this country or abroad, but let me assure you, if you keep to your goals, your own passion, I am sure that I can only say that the sky can be the limit for you. And in fact, I urge you to bear in mind that in this life, the sky can certainly be the limit for you. So long this morning, all students, na all papa, na mama, I have been addressing the grade ones, but let me remind all of us that the learning of our students, na learning belong imyol kita, those who dare to continue to learn, is actually a matter that imyol kita should take possession of, take ownership of. We don't let our children to go to class and then we expect them to be taught by their teachers, the instructors, and feel content that that is all that they can be able to benefit from. In fact, parents, relatives, members of the community should take ownership, should take possession of the learning of our students. I have 3 children of my own. As has been stated, I am a lawyer. My firstborn child is a partner of the law firm called Kubak and Kubak, solicitors and barristers. She's a senior lawyer. I have another son that is currently in the Philippines studying information technology. And a young man out in the sun on my right is my son Eugene. He's a graduate of the International Film Academy for Film and Television in Mactan in the Philippines. Eugene is a filmmaker and a photographer. I share this not for any other reason, not to be boastful, but to alert you and draw your attention to the fact that in this country we live in a land of possibilities. With our great God, nothing is impossible. And I think you've had your fair share of lectures on that from parents and from teachers. But I just wanted to take the moment to remind us again of this great God that we serve. Nothing is impossible. So I'd like to think that as you sit here, grade ones, you're already dreaming and thinking about big things. If you are, and I urge you, if you are not thinking big, then you are not doing the right thinking. The kind of thinking that should be driving you, grade ones, and the younger generation of today is thinking big. I want you to think big. I want you to continue to shift your goals higher and higher, but always keeping to the calling that personally drives you. So this morning, I will not go much further than to basically say that seated here in front, I can assure you, are people who once sat where you are, people who harbored dreams that they didn't want to share with anyone else for fear of being belittled in their thinking. But I assure you, if you find yourself in that situation, you look to the supreme source of all the energy and all the determination that you require, our supreme creator, for your guidance. Because I assure you further that as you sit here, whatever calling that you are thinking seriously of pursuing, I'm almost certain that it is your calling, that the God Almighty has called you to pursue. I stand here as an example and a testimony of that very statement that I've just made. I believe, as a lawyer, I'm not good for anything else but lawyering. So in my particular calling, I as I either continue to do lawyering until I get old and die, or I become a judicial officer, a judge, or a magistrate and I die, or I become a lawmaker, a member of the lawmaking houses of this country. That's all that I believe I am called to do. And I believe as you are seated here, the decisions that you had made, possibly with the assistance of your parents or your guardians, those decisions were made with divine guidance. So please, gentlemen and lady graduating today, please be comforted by the fact that your particular calling is yours and yours alone. You were called to be where you are even before you were conceived in the respective mother's womb. On that note, I want to say thank you once again for the opportunity to share these few remarks with you. I congratulate you for your achievement. You have just made another milestone in your learning life. But as I said, you are now required, as you arrive at this crossroad, to make that all-important decision as to where do you go from there. Do you go forward? Do you go right? Do you go left? Do you backtrack? Or do you become complacent and remain static where you are? That is the challenge for you this morning. Because remember, life is all about decisions. The decisions that we make, however seemingly small they may be, ultimately the cumulative effect of all it all is that it determines where you end up tomorrow. On that note, thank you once again for listening. May God bless you all.